What does the name Lorna Shore stand for? This is from imperiling.com. It says, usually with deathcore bands, it's quite easy to deduce what their band name is about. Nevertheless, some fans may have wondered what exactly Lorna Shore means and who came up with it. Lorna Shore guitarist Adam DeMico, I think is how you pronounce it, provided the answer on Reddit. According to him, their former guitarist came up with the idea for the band name. He knew about the band Gwen Stacy, named after Spider-Man's girlfriend. However, he personally preferred Batman and decided to name the band after the character Lorna Shore from the comic series Batman Confidential. She is a museum curator who dates Bruce Wayne for a while before he ends their relationship to protect her. And of course, Bruce Wayne has always got into a lot of relationships to protect the people he loves, right? All right. Hello and welcome to Disembodied Screams. I thought that was interesting, so I thought I would share it on the podcast, on the YouTube channel. I didn't know where Lorna Shore's name came from, and I'm glad to learn that fact. This is a channel, getting back to my notes, diving into the link between horror and heavy metal music. With all that said, let's get started with some album information from Apple Music, and this Apple Music album information will also bleed into the personnel part too that I like to cover. I like to cover some album information, some personnel, kind of give you a little basis for who this band is and for what this album is about. So let's get into it. It says, after the rousing success of 2022's Pain Remains, killer album, New Jersey deathcore crew Lorna Shore returns with their fifth album. Vocalist Will Ramos made his full-length debut with the band on Pain Remains and felt the pressure to deliver again on I Feel the Everblack Festering Within Me. He said, I definitely approached this one with 1,000% more anxiety. If you can imagine, he tells Apple Music. He goes on to say, everyone's like, what's the next Lorna Shore album going to be like? It's got to be the most incredible thing ever. That stuff is always in the back of your mind when you're writing stuff. And I can imagine that's probably pretty intimidating to try and write an album after falling on it, but that was so well received. I've been a writer for a while and never been fortunate enough to have anything that popular. But as a writer myself, I can imagine it would be tough to follow up a big hit. The blurb goes on to say, the title, I Feel the Everblack Festering Within Me, is taken from a line in the album's opening track, Prison of Flesh. Ramos says, it's about my family's history of dementia, which creates a fear inside like you're running from something. That line is one of my favorites from the song, but honestly, we were just trying to come up with a sick-ass name. And it's a pretty good name. I do like that name. It is pretty sick. Musically speaking, Will and his bandmates, guitarist Adam DeMico, or Miko, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, drummer Austin Archie, bassist Michael Yeager, and guitarist Andrew O'Connor expand Lorna Shore's crushing sonic palette while stripping back some of their renowned technicality in favor of monster grooves on tracks like Unbreakable, In Darkness, and the Lamb of God inspired War Machine. I always think of Kiss when I hear that song. War Machine. We weren't too strict on keeping it 100%. Will says, deathcore. He says we weren't too strict on keeping it 100% deathcore or 100% death metal or whatever other people expect Lorna Shore to put out. At the end of the day, we just want to put out some good music. And it says below he comments on each song, and I'm not going to get into that big blurb. If you do have Apple Music, go over and check it out and just read through the songs. It's interesting stuff. And songs for this album. This is the part of the episode, part of the podcast, where I kind of dive into the songs. And then after, I will rate these songs on a horror scale. Basically just how all these songs fit in a horror type environment. Song 1, Prison of Flesh, Oblivion, In Darkness, Unbreakable, Glenwood. Absolutely love Glenwood. That song is absolute fire from start to finish. That guitar work is chef's kiss. God, I love that song. It's so good. Lionheart, Death Can Take Me, War Machine, A Nameless Hymn, and Forevermore. And, there are some horrific sounding songs in here like Prison of Flesh, Oblivion. I mean, if Pinhead is saying Oblivion, I'm going to send you to Oblivion, that would be very creepy. And Darkness could be, that's got one kind of a little horrorish tint to it. Death Can Take Me. Just finished watching all the Final Destination movies. Watching this on November and on YouTube. Final Destination will start sometime in the new year for me on the channel. Enjoyed all those. Final Destination, all but 4, all but part 4. I really liked. 4 was a tough one to watch. Anyways, sidebar over. I just saw Death Can Take Me, and I was like, sounds like something from Final Destination. War Machine, A Nameless Hymn, and Forevermore. A Nameless Hymn, you could put a little darkness spin on something called A Nameless Hymn. And Forevermore, I mean, it does sound a little dark-ass too, And I'm going to rate all these on a scale of 1 to 6. 1 being Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, 6 being Somewhere in Freddy's Nightmares. And I think looking at all these songs as a collective whole, it's a 2. There just doesn't pop with horror. None of these songs really pop with horror, like some other albums do. So I'm going to give that a 2. And the song title, Deep Dive, is Prison of Flesh. And this blurb sold me on the perfect song to deep dive. It goes like this. My grandma, I don't know where she is in her head at this point. My aunt is slowly forgetting things. Throughout the song, I personify these demons that are coming to get you. But the demons are the void that's slowly filling you up. The song ends in this big climax like you've just been eaten by whatever this void is, until you don't even know who you are or who the people around you are. It's my ode to people with dementia and the families who have to deal with that. And that does sound very, very horrific. To not only go through it, but to witness loved ones go through it, it's just, that's horrible. That would have to be a horrible, horrible thing to be a part of. This is the bulk of the lyrics to Prison of Flesh. I feel their grip closing in on my wilting soul, ripping apart all the roots that held me in control. Make me whole or split me in two. Desensitize my sorrow. Good line. Desensitize my sorrow. Replace my insides, a hollow body vacant of all but fear. I can't escape the dark within me. These demons reside in me. I am fading faster, searching for answers in the dark until I depart. I drank from the river, withered, lost in the void of my mind. I come to find I'm running out of time. They're coming to get me. Forever lost in the dark, I'm running for my life, losing pieces of what is left of my sanity. I'm becoming empty inside of this shell. What I've become, where do I go from here? Now I feel their grip, breaking me down, grasping at my neck, playing with memories. All I am is fucking sick. I cannot breathe inside this hell. Suffocate all reason. I am nothing but barren, a prison of flesh to confine the curse within my blood. Yeah, that is a very horror-sounding feel to it, doesn't it? Whew, just being trapped inside that hell would be miserable. Absolutely miserable. Album title, I feel the Everblack Festering within me. And now I'm going to rate songs and I'm going to rate title based on a horror theme, horror feel. And that title's a 4. I mean, the Everblack Festering with me, like a festering wound. It has a very good horror sound to it. I mean, you could basically take that title and just take something in a horror movie, make it black or like that, and just have it get onto somebody's skin and start festering into them, So 4, definitely. I have a HomePod Mini sitting here, and my Apple phone occasionally keeps trying to sync up with it. I'm like, stop doing it. I'm trying to work on this. If you see me hitting the screen, that's the reason why. All right, now I'm going to rate the album cover as well on a scale of 1 to 6. like I did with the last one. One being Jim Neighbors. Is it Jim Neighbors? Not Jim Neighbors. It was I just said it a second ago. Anyways, Somewhere Peace and Tranquil is number 1. 6 is Freddy's Nightmares. So album cover is getting a 5 because that album cover is what pulled me into this album and got me to do this episode. I mean, you got this person leaning over on this something or other. I don't know what it is. It looks like a stand or something. And their whole body is just oozing and melting and congealing with the darkness below. And there's like this black behind it splattered with all this brown. It's just, there's like a white under the floor, something moving down there maybe. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's a painting in itself to look at, and it's very horrific. And you who are watching on Spotify or YouTube, you can see it on the screen. And if you're listening and you want to go look at it later, go look at it later when you can, because it's an absolutely beautiful album cover. And I wrote why 5, just in case somebody was questioning it. I wrote that cover gives me Silence of the Lambs, horror vibes. Just gives off such a feeling of hopeless despair and doom. And I guess I'm enjoying this word, festering gloom. You feel like you're melting into the darkness, like I said before. It's pure psychological horror. And now, getting to the end of this, you add up the songs, the title, and the cover. Stop at HomePod Mini. On a scale of 1 to 6, how horrific is this album? It actually scored a little higher than I thought it was going to score. It's closer towards the 6 than it is to the 1. It's actually a 3.7. So pretty cool, pretty cool. I do like it's funny how you look at an album, you're like, well, the songs aren't real horrific. Cover's kind of horrific. The other things are, yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. But then you get to the end, you're like, oh, wow, that kind of cool. So somewhere almost in the middle, just a little shy past it, 3.7. All right, thanks for listening. If you have bands you like that have a horror spin, let me know in the comments below. And you can do that on Spotify or YouTube, where you can actually watch this episode. And this episode has been live on the new Disembodied Screams podcast since October. I think there's a link to it at the top of the YouTube channel page. Next episode 4 will drop simultaneously on the podcast, which is available on Amazon, Apple, and Spotify, and YouTube. So you'll get the podcast episode, I'll drop it, and then I'll drop the YouTube episode same day, 3 p.m., 1500 hours, 3 p.m. East Coast time. So I figured 4 platforms is good for growth, and that's what I'm trying to do with this channel, grow the horror love just a little bit more. So you can now watch or listen at your convenience. If you're like, I would really like to listen to this, but I don't have time to watch it, now you can swing over to the podcast and turn it on and listen to it. All these episodes will be very podcast in nature, so you won't have to see anything on there. You can just listen. All right, that's it. HomePod's trying to read my phone again. Stop it. Have a good one, and I hope you enjoy the new podcast and enjoy the new stuff I'm doing from here forward into the new year. Be good.